Welcome to another episode of Wham Baam Gamercam, full of crazy car crashes from various video games. Grab your snacks, hit the like button, and enjoy. Nywall was driving in Texas behind a small truck. Suddenly, an oncoming semi-truck collided with the car in front of it, spinning out into the oncoming lane, where it crashed with a mini-truck driving in front of him. Nywall escaped the worst impact by inches, but the small truck didn't have as much luck. It got directly hit by the semi-truck, as well as the car driving behind him. Jack Wellen was a police officer in NFS Hot Pursuit. He was trying to shut down a race, and he attempted to pit maneuver a Porsche, but the car hit a barrier, spun out, crashed into the Lambo, and caused the Porsche to be thrown off a cliff. Stanley was driving in East Coast, USA. He was overtaking vehicles when suddenly an oncoming car appeared. He tried to avoid the vehicle, but he clipped it with the left side of his vehicle before he lost control. He then crashed into a ditch, disabling his car. Jaden was driving his green supercar at high speed in Los Santos. He was making so many close calls, almost crashing multiple times. Suddenly, his car caught air, hit a traffic light, which caused him to roll over, and he almost fell off the bridge. Thankfully, his car slid back onto the road and even onto all four wheels. This submitter was driving in the tunnel located in Utah. He had heavy traffic behind him when suddenly a fast-approaching semi-truck hit multiple vehicles, pushing them like toys. It even reached our submitter. Man, new fear unlocked. Stang sent us footage of his car that got stolen. The robber lost control after 200 meters of driving after catching air. He rolled over before he crashed into a traffic light, stopping with Stang's car upside down. Stang's car was totaled. Here you can see pictures from the scrapyard. This submitter was driving his Dodge Ram TRX. Suddenly, his car lost traction on the ice, and he crashed head-on with an oncoming red hatchback. Our submitter rolled over before he stopped sliding in the snow, almost sliding down the river. Both vehicles were severely damaged and totaled. This submitter was racing in NASCAR 2003. What a nostalgic game. Who remembers playing it? He was racing on the Daytona International Speedway. Suddenly, they were pushed off track and collided into the pack, causing the car to go on its side. If anyone is still playing this game, we would love to see more crashes from this one. Hussein was driving in his Subaru WRX to work. But suddenly, his ride was stopped after he got T-boned by a Honda Civic. He spun out and hit an oncoming BMW 3 Series. The Subaru was written off, and the Civic driver was fined for not yielding to traffic. George was testing his new tuned car to see what it could do. But sadly, his test ended with a collision. Another player drifted into his path, causing George to spin out into a cornfield. After that, he just continued driving, but we don't know the result of his top speed test. Sapperpong was driving his Genesis, making a left onto Main Street to get to a dealership. Around 450 meters away from the dealership, a taxi merged without looking to his left, and Sapperpong couldn't react in time. They both collided, causing minor damage to his car. Dark Angel MVP was going at 148 miles per hour in an Audi RS3. He was overtaking vehicles before he approached a curve. He lost control before he entered the curve and flew off the road. He then hit a bumpy surface, causing him to jump and roll over before he came to a complete stop. Stanley was driving behind a white van, keeping a safe distance. Suddenly, he received a message on his phone. He looked at his phone, and once he looked back up, the van had slowed down while he was looking at his phone, and Stanley rear-ended the white van. Don't text and drive, gamers. Stang sent us dashcam footage of a vehicle being stolen. As the robber got in, he backed up and crashed into the car parked behind. He then fled and was driving crazily, in the typical style of drive it like you stole it. His joyride didn't last long as he lost control and crashed into multiple vehicles on the road. He then rolled down the cliff before he came to a complete stop. Stanley was driving in Utah. He made the worst decision, to overtake a car on a curve. An oncoming car appeared. He tried to avoid it, but he managed to hit it before he lost control. After he lost control, he went off-road and crashed into a river before he rolled over. Richard was driving his Tesla Model 3 in Greenville. A Ford Mustang that was in front of him at an intersection was making a left turn on a green light when it got hit by an oncoming BMW M5. The Mustang then rolled over. What a Tesla moment in Roblox. Jack was driving with his friend on the road. His friend suddenly slid into a ditch before she hit a jump and rolled over. She got out, and Jack saved the clip to send it to Wham Baam Gamercam. Wolf Coltron 09 was driving in Forza Horizon. He was overtaking a semi-truck when he did a sharp and unnecessary maneuver, causing his tires to lose traction. He rear-ended a pickup truck before spinning out and finally stopping. Infinite Arc was driving in Moab, Utah, going over 100 miles per hour. He went with his left tires off the road, causing him to lose control. He crashed into a car before he started spinning out. Ethan was driving in the NASCAR Roblox game. But he forgot there was a speed boost on the road. He flipped into the air, rolled multiple times, and came to a stop near a broken-down Indy car. Bus0905 Gaming sent us footage from a train intersection. Have you ever seen a train intersection? Suddenly, two trains started approaching from different directions. They both collided before coming to a stop. Nolan Friendly was driving in the snowy Belasco town. It was freezing when suddenly he got rear-ended by a car that was sliding down a hill, unable to stop. The driver who crashed into him said his gas pedal kept getting stuck even after the collision. Adrian Ruiz was racing in the Formula. He was approaching a zigzag when he got distracted for a second because his team told him to pit for new tires. Because of that, he forgot to slow down and turn. Then he went careening into the barriers and crashed hard into them at 236 kilometers per hour, rapidly decreasing the car's speed. After that, he went sliding into another barrier when the front of his car got stuck between the barriers. Blue Sky was heading to a meeting. He was driving around 30 miles per hour when he crossed through an intersection with a green light. Suddenly, a 1996 Honda Civic going 65 in a 30-mile-per-hour zone T-boned the rear side of his Porsche, sending him spinning into a ditch. The Honda tried to run away, but ended up crashing and bursting into flames. Emiliano was driving down a country road in Somerset in his 2023 GAC Ion. As he was approaching a yield sign, he stopped to give the right-of-way to traffic. Suddenly, the driver of a Gavril D-Series wasn't paying attention and rear-ended Emiliano, pushing his car onto the main road. A Hyundai Casper impacted Emiliano from the right side, and he was pushed into the other lane, where a truck hit him head-on. The Hyundai Casper was also impacted by the truck. This submitter sent us a crazy clip of a truck's brakes failing while the truck was going downhill. The truck then crashed at full speed into a traffic jam, causing major damage. What a wreck! Hunt Security Ltd sent us security cam footage of an Audi RS5 speeding over a dip. The car got launched into the air, flying for a few yards before it landed on a vehicle. It was a Range Rover that got hit by the flying Audi RS5, causing major damage. Luke was speeding down the road in his orange Ibishu Sunburst. He overestimated his car and his driving skill, and while he approached a curve, he sideswiped a vehicle. Then he flew out of the curve, hit a ditch, then he hit a jump with his front, and finally, he crashed into a wall that stopped his car. Ivan was driving a Gavril Marshall. As he approached an intersection, he got hit by a BMW. Both vehicles spun out after the impact before stopping. Both vehicles were unrepairable and were totaled.